IDA for telling my sister she ruined my wedding and I never want to see her again? I, 28F, got married last weekend to my wonderful husband Jake, 30M. It was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, but my sister Sarah, 25F, managed to turn it into a complete disaster. I'm still fuming, and I need to know if I'm overreacting or if I'm justified in cutting her out of my life. Some background: Sarah has always been the problem child in our family. She dropped out of college, can't hold down a job, and has a history of substance abuse. Our parents have enabled her behavior for years, always bailing her out of trouble and making excuses for her. I've tried to be supportive, but it's been exhausting. When Jake and I got engaged, I hesitated to make Sarah a bridesmaid. But my parents insisted, saying it would be good for her to have some responsibility. Against my better judgment, I agreed. The wedding day started off great. Everything was beautiful, and I was so excited to marry the love of my life. Then Sarah showed up, an hour late to the bridal suite, clearly hungover. I was annoyed, but I tried to let it go. The makeup artist worked her magic, and we managed to get Sarah looking presentable. The ceremony went smoothly, thank goodness. But then came the reception, and that's when everything fell apart. During the toasts, Sarah stumbled up to the microphone, completely wasted. She started rambling about how Jake had hit on her at a family barbecue 2 years ago, absolutely not true, and how she always thought I was settling for him. She then proceeded to tell everyone about the time she caught me shoplifting when I was 15, which I've never done, and how I've always been stuck up and boring. I was mortified. Jake was furious. Our guests were stunned into silence. My dad finally managed to wrestle the mic away from her, but the damage was done. Sarah then stumbled into the wedding cake, knocking it over and ruining my dress in the process. I lost it. I screamed at her that she had ruined everything, that she was a selfish, pathetic excuse for a sister, and that I never wanted to see her again. Security escorted her out, and we tried to salvage what was left of the reception, but the mood was ruined. It's been a week, and I'm still devastated. My parents are begging me to forgive Sarah, saying she was just drunk and didn't mean it. But I'm done. I told them I'm cutting her out of my life for good. Edit: Wow, this blew up overnight. Thank you all for your support and advice. I'll try to respond to some comments and provide more details. Edit 2: A lot of you are asking about Jake's reaction. He's been incredibly supportive but is also hurt by Sarah's false accusations. We're considering legal action for defamation. Update 1. It's been about a month since my original post, and a lot has happened. I want to thank everyone for their support and advice. It really helped me navigate this difficult situation. First, Jake and I decided not to pursue legal action against Sarah. After talking to a lawyer, we realized it would be a long, expensive process with no guarantee of a satisfactory outcome. We'd rather focus on healing and moving forward. As for Sarah, she tried to contact me multiple times in the weeks following the wedding. I ignored her calls and messages, needing time to process everything. My parents continued to pressure me to forgive her, but I stood my ground. About 2 weeks ago, I received a letter from Sarah. It was handwritten and tear-stained. In it, she confessed that she had relapsed shortly before the wedding and had been using again. She said she was checking herself into rehab and wanted to make amends, but she understood if I needed space. I was conflicted. Part of me was glad she was getting help, but another part of me was still too hurt and angry to care. I showed the letter to Jake, and we had a long talk about it. He suggested that while I don't need to forgive Sarah right away, it might be worth considering giving her a chance to make amends after she completes rehab. After much thought, I decided to send Sarah a brief email. I told her I was glad she was getting help, but that I needed time and space to heal. I said I wasn't ready to have her in my life right now, but I might be open to talking after she completes her program and maintains sobriety for a while. My parents were relieved that I was leaving the door open, even if just a crack. They've promised to respect my boundaries and not push me to reconcile before I'm ready. As for Jake and me, we're doing our best to move past this. We're planning a do-over reception with our close friends and family, minus Sarah, to celebrate our marriage properly. It won't erase what happened, but it's a step towards creating new, positive memories. I'm still angry and hurt, but I'm also trying to focus on the good things in my life. Jake has been my rock through all of this, and it's made our bond even stronger. We're looking forward to starting this new chapter of our lives together. Thank you all again for your support. It really means a lot to know that so many people have my back. Edit: Thank you for all the awards and kind words. You guys are amazing. Update 2. It's been 6 months since my last update, and I wanted to share what's happened since then. A lot has changed, and I'm still processing everything. First, The good news, Jake and I had our do-over reception, and it was wonderful. We kept it small and intimate, just close friends and family. It was everything our original reception should have been, filled with love, laughter, and joy. We even recreated our first dance and cut a new cake. It helped us reclaim some of the happiness that was stolen from us on our actual wedding day. Now, on to the more complicated stuff. Sarah completed her 90-day rehab program and has been sober for 5 months now. She's been attending NA meetings regularly and has a sponsor. My parents have been cautiously optimistic, trying not to enable her but also showing support for her recovery. About 2 months ago, Sarah reached out again. She asked if we could meet in person so she could apologize face to face. I was hesitant, but after discussing it with Jake and my therapist, yes, I started seeing one to deal with all this. I agreed to meet her in a neutral location, a quiet cafe near my apartment. The meeting was intense. Sarah looked healthier than I'd seen her in years. She was clear-eyed and seemed genuinely remorseful. She apologized profusely for her behavior at the wedding, taking full responsibility without making excuses. She explained that she had been using again for months before the wedding, spiraling into a deep depression. She said she felt worthless compared to me and acted out of jealousy and self-loathing. I listened to her apology, and I could tell she was sincere. But I also told her how deeply she had hurt me, Jake, and our entire family. I explained that while I was glad she was getting help, it didn't erase the pain she had caused or the memories she had tainted. Sarah understood. She said she didn't expect forgiveness and that she would respect whatever boundaries I needed to set. She gave me a letter she had written as part of her 12-step program, Making Amends. She said I could read it whenever I felt ready. I left that meeting feeling conflicted. On one hand, I was proud of Sarah for taking steps to better herself. On the other, I was still hurt and wary of letting her back into my life. Over the next few weeks, I read Sarah's letter and had many discussions with Jake, my therapist, and my parents. Slowly, I've been allowing Sarah back into my life in small doses. We've had a few family dinners together, and while they've been a bit awkward, they've also been civil. I'm not going to lie, there's still a part of me that's angry. I don't know if I'll ever be able to fully forgive Sarah for what she did. But I'm trying to find a balance between protecting myself and giving her a chance to prove she's changed. Jake has been incredibly supportive through all of this. He's let me take the lead on how to handle the situation with Sarah, offering his input when asked but never pressuring me one way or the other. His unwavering support has made me fall in love with him even more, if that's possible. As for me, I'm doing better. Therapy has helped me process my feelings and set healthy boundaries. I'm learning to let go of some of the anger and resentment, not for Sarah's sake, but for my own peace of mind. I don't know what the future holds for my relationship with Sarah. I'm taking it one day at a time, remaining cautiously optimistic but also protecting myself emotionally. It's a work in progress, and I'm okay with that. Thank you all for your support throughout this journey. Your kind words and advice have been a source of strength for me. I may post another update in the future if anything significant changes, but for now, I'm focusing on my marriage, my own well-being, and cautiously rebuilding my relationship with my sister. Edit. Wow, I'm overwhelmed by all the supportive comments and messages. Thank you all so much. To address a few common questions. 1. Yes, Sarah is in therapy as well as attending NA meetings. 2. No, we haven't discussed any financial compensation for the ruined wedding. At this point, I care more about emotional healing than money. 3. Jake and I are doing great. We're planning a belated honeymoon for next spring. Final update. It's been 2 years since my original post, and I thought I'd share one last update with you all. So much has changed, and I want to thank everyone who's followed this journey and offered support along the way. First, the big news, Jake and I are expecting our first child. I'm due in about 3 months, and we're over the moon excited. We're having a little girl, and decorating the nursery has been such a joy. It's funny how life can change so dramatically in just a couple of years. Now, on to the Sarah situation. I'm happy to report that she's still sober, 2 years and counting. She's been working hard on her recovery, attending meetings, and seeing a therapist regularly. She's also gone back to school part-time to finish her degree in social work, with the goal of becoming an addiction counselor herself. Our relationship has slowly but steadily improved over time. It hasn't been easy, and there have been setbacks along the way. There were times when I doubted whether reconciliation was possible, moments when old resentments bubbled up. But we've both put in the work, and I can honestly say that we're in a good place now. About a year ago, Sarah and I started having regular sister dates, just the two of us, usually grabbing coffee or taking a walk in the park. During these meetups, we've had many deep, honest conversations about our past, our relationship, and our hopes for the future. It's been healing for both of us. One of the most significant moments came when Sarah told me she had watched our wedding video, the one that captured her drunken speech and the cake incident. She said it was part of her therapy, facing the consequences of her actions head on. She broke down crying, saying she finally understood the full extent of what she had done. That moment of genuine remorse and self-awareness was a turning point for me in terms of forgiveness. Jake has also come a long way in forgiving Sarah. It took time, but he's seen her consistent efforts to change and make amends. They'll probably never be best friends, but they can now be in the same room comfortably and even joke around a bit. When Jake and I announced my pregnancy, Sarah's reaction was beautiful. She cried tears of joy and promised to be the best aunt she could be. She's been incredibly supportive throughout my pregnancy, even organizing my baby shower alongside my best friend. We've had some discussions about Sarah's role in our daughter's life. While we're excited for her to be an aunt, we've also set clear boundaries. Sarah understands and respects that she'll need to maintain her sobriety to be part of our child's life. She's committed to being a positive influence and has even started researching how to explain addiction to children in age-appropriate ways for when our daughter is older. As for me, I've done a lot of healing. Therapy has been invaluable, helping me work through my anger and learn to trust again. I've also learned a lot about addiction and family dynamics, which has given me a new perspective on our family history. I won't lie and say everything is perfect. There are still moments when I remember the wedding incident and feel a pang of sadness or anger. But those moments are becoming fewer and farther between. I've learned that forgiveness is a process, not a single act, and I'm okay with that. Looking back on my original post, I barely recognize that angry, hurt version of myself. I'm grateful for how far we've all come. My wedding day might not have been what I dreamed of, but my marriage has been stronger than I ever could have imagined. And while my relationship with Sarah will never be what it was before the wedding, in many ways, it's become deeper and more authentic. To anyone out there dealing with family drama or addiction issues, I want to say, there's hope. It takes time, effort, and a lot of patience, but healing is possible. And sometimes, the most broken relationships can be rebuilt into something even stronger. Thank you all for being part of this journey with me. Your support and advice have meant the world to me. As I prepare to become a mother, I'm filled with hope for the future, for myself, for Jake, for our daughter, and yes, even for Sarah. Edit. Thank you all for the congratulations and well wishes. To answer some common questions. 1. Yes, we've discussed having Sarah be our daughter's godmother. We haven't made a final decision yet, but we're seriously considering it as a way to honor her recovery and our rebuilt relationship. 2. We did eventually have that dream honeymoon. We went to Bali last year and it was absolutely magical. 3. For those asking about my parents, they've been supportive throughout this whole process. They've also done some soul-searching about their role in enabling Sarah's behavior in the past. We're all in a much healthier place now. 4. To those sharing their own stories of family reconciliation or ongoing struggles, thank you. Your stories remind me that we're not alone in these complex family dynamics. 5. And finally, to those who are angry on my behalf or think I should have maintained no contact with Sarah, I understand where you're coming from. Everyone's journey is different. This path of reconciliation has been right for me, but I respect that it might not be the right choice for everyone in similar situations. Thank you again, Reddit. You've been an unexpected source of support through one of the most challenging and ultimately transformative periods of my life.